Okay, this is my summary of my research project and interview process. Um, my research process, I feel like it went really smoothly. I was able to gather a lot of information, a lot of really eye-opening things. I feel like I went in to this project with a very preconceived notion, and my ideas were definitely challenged, and I mean, my mind was opened from all of the responses that I got from my survey, and I definitely learned a lot from my interview. Um, my interview process went well also. I feel as though I could have prepared my questions a little more, and sorry, excuse me. I feel like I could have prepared my questions and just used a little bit more of the thoughts that I had gathered from my survey to develop my questions, just because I felt like a lot of the things that I realized from my survey, I could have gotten even more information from my interviewee. So just to give some background, I did my research project on the emotion of a voice. I just called it Voice and Emotion, an Analysis and Comparison. I was mainly looking to understand whether or not people found a voice, singing, or an instrument to bring more emotion into their personal lives. And just from my survey, I found that a lot of people, I had a free response where they could write their responses to a few questions, but I just felt like a lot of the responses were surprisingly, I mean, to me, I was already biased. I'm a vocalist, and so I I was already hoping and thought that I knew that vocal music would evoke the most emotion, but from other people's responses, I just learned that it's not really one or the other. And more from my interview process, there's a lot more depth to this topic of what type of music, what instrument evokes the most emotion than I originally thought. Just from my interview, I learned that personal preference and background really has a lot to do with it. And I'm like, part of me is just kind of like, why didn't I think of that before? Duh, because I'm a vocalist, that's my background, and that was my preference. But someone who maybe plays the saxophone or the flute or the violin might find music that solos those instruments to be more emotional. Although there is an aspect, maybe I should have focused a little bit more on like the ability to like discern which emotion is being portrayed with different instruments and the voice, because in my survey I had two small audio clips. One, they were of the same song, same section of the song, just different arrangements. One was just a violin as the solo instrument, and one was with the voice. And I feel it was interesting because the responses I got, I asked the question, what emotion most closely describes how you felt when you listened to this excerpt? And I had like sadness, joy, contempt, anger, or other, where they could fill in whatever emotion they felt. And for the violin one, the majority of the answers said joy. And the lyrics of the section that I chose say, "What have I become? My sweetest friend. Everyone I know goes away in the end." And most of the responses to the emotion they felt during the second listening was sadness. Like by far, everyone put sadness. And so I do think that there are several elements to this topic that you could even do like separate research projects on, just because of the complexity and what instruments evoke what emotion, or how can someone know what emotion is being portrayed by an instrument without lyrics. So yeah. I learned a lot, and I feel like I'm still trying to grasp all of the data and the results that I've come up with from this project. This is a lot more fun than I thought it would be. And yeah, I feel like I have a better handle on the whole process of research. So there's my summary.